Welcome to the EEE360 video for lab number 19, the split phase induction motor, part 1. And here's a close-up of the front of the split phase induction machine. You can see here those are the main windings right there. A little bit smaller here we have the auxiliary winding, and those are wound so they're 90 degrees out of phase. You'll be able to see a clear view of those when you start your lab. There'll be some pictures with all of the key components labeled. And here's the rotor. Again, the rotor is, of course, the rotating portion of the machine. And on the rotor right there, that is the squirrel cage, which allows this motor to start as an induction machine. This is a view of the rear of the split-phase induction machine. Right there is the capacitor. Also on the rear, we also have the centrifugal switch. And as the rotor gets spinning fast enough, this switch will be open. So that is the open position for the switch. And if the motor's not turning very quick, it will be closed, so that's closed, and here's the open position. You'll be able to see a closer view again in your lab. Here's the front panel of our split-phase induction machine. Between 1 and 2, right here, these are the connections to the main winding. There's some other components that we can connect to. Between 6 and 7, that's the connections for the centrifugal switch. Again, that opens up when the rotor is turning fast enough. Between 5 and 4 there, this is the connection to the capacitor. We won't be using this connection until lab number 22. And again, the last component here, between 3 and 4, this is the auxiliary winding or the start winding. For this lab, we're using the following components. We're using the power supply, the split-phase induction machine, as well as the DC voltmeter and the DC ammeter. And now the TA, Ji Chang, is ready to make the connections for us. We're going to go from our variable DC power supply through the DC ammeter, from the DC ammeter to one side of our main winding. And now we're going to connect the other side of our main winding to the neutral of our variable DC power supply. And lastly, we want to check the voltage across our main winding. So we're going to put our DC voltmeter across each side of the winding. The point of this experiment is to check the resistance of the main winding using Ohm's law. And now we're ready to energize our circuit. We're going to turn on the power supply and adjust for 5 volts. And now that we have our voltage set, let's take a close look at our readings. And here we can see that our voltage reading is 5 volts, and our current reading is 1.9 amperes. And now, students, it's your chance to explore this and other experiments with the single phase induction machine.